Welcome to Ghostly. Welcome to Ghostly.
Is the Poveglia island in Italy haunted?
Ghostly is a podcast that comes out every other week. In each episode, we take a ghost story or paranormal event and look into its complete history. Rebecca then gives us evidence proving that the story is real, and my job is to debate those pieces of evidence and get you, the listener, prepared to vote on if it's real or not. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. And as always, we're your host. I'm Pat, and that's Rebecca.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. This is going to be a hard one for pronunciation. I will tell you that. I am going to struggle a lot, and I am sorry in advance. I am not Italian.
Yeah.
I don't live in Italy.
Uh-huh.
Some of the things I didn't even know what they were.
Okay. Well, I will try my best to help if I can, and we'll just see.
But we are going to be talking about Poveglia Island.
Poveglia. We got it.
I have to keep saying that because
hopefully
that's a hard one.
we got it right. I mean, we watched some videos. We promise.
I also heard it pronounced another way, but I'm not going to try to say that because if I do, I will not be able to say Poveglia.
There you go.
Yeah, because I struggle with that word.
Yes.
But it is an island. So here is an interesting thing. So we have ghost towns in the U.S., right?
Yes.
Where, it's not necessarily that there's ghosts there. It's just everybody left there.
Right. It's a ghost town because no one's there.
But how about a ghost island?
That is so crazy to me. There'd just be like an abandoned island.
And it's not just, it's been abandoned for the last 60 years.
Uh-huh.
But that is not the only time it's been abandoned. It's been abandoned several times in its existence.
Yes, like over the years. Got it. Okay.
Which is really strange to me, that like an island over there that could, whatever. I mean,
it's going to be interesting.
It is going to be very interesting. But now is the time when we do shout outs. There's two ways to get a shout out. The first one is what we got today is to give us a review on Apple Podcast. We love those 5-star reviews, Rebecca. We haven't had one of those in a little bit. So if you're hearing this and you love Ghostly, give us one of those. I need something, I need something to keep me going here. But we're going to read any and all reviews that we receive. So this is one of them. That's a 3-star.
Yes. So do you want to tell them the second way?
Yeah, the second way is just to become a member on Patreon. Then we'll give you a shout out. You just go to ghostlypodcast.com and click on Patreon in the menu bar, and all the tiers get a shout out.
Absolutely.
One of them gets a continuous shout out every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But
our VIP.
So our VIP pass, which they're like producers of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know, a lot of the tiers there, you get access to Ghostly X, which is our other show that we do, which kind of has a lot of fun, a lot of times ghost stuff. But lately, we've been having a lot of fun doing your favorite topic over there.
Yeah, secret societies.
Secret societies.
It is really fun. But I will tell you, if you join Patreon now, there's over 30 episodes that we have in there.
Interviews.
Some are ghostly related. Mm-hmm. Some are interviews. Some are the secret society. We're doing 5 of them. We have 1 more to go.
Absolutely. And we just have fun over there, and
we do.
And we're gonna keep having more fun. There's a lot of things coming up on Ghostly Patreon. So
all right. So
anyways, but let's get to this. I've been putting it off.
By Willart 13.
Would you like me to read it, or are you going to read it today?
You can read it.
All right. So this is Mixed Feelings, 3 stars.
Okay.
Well, we ended up on the 3-star and the 2-star. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that you can tell the time and effort put in by both hosts when it comes to research. You do hear they do care about their work. The thing is, both of them have kind of flat-sounding voices without much inflection or excitement. I find I zone out and miss things because there isn't a hook. It has a scripted sounds to it, like they are reading even the jokes off a piece of paper. There isn't enough of a natural flow, maybe a lack of chemistry between the hosts with a
I don't know
emoji, making it sound like a genuine, making it not sound like a genuine as I'm sure they would like it to. The often dead air spaces between when a joke is being added in or a quote unquote skeptical statement for reaction. I think Rebecca should sound more engaging when talking about the background and the stories. I think Pat should sound more enthralled into figuring out what or if these things could be true. One big note when it comes to the research, I think looking up and making sure you know how things are supposed to be pronounced is meaningful.
Oh, they're going to hate this episode.
This is going to be hard. Even can be used as an education journey for the listening, aka I thought it was this, but after researching the name, this is how you say it's, and this is why. The sound effects and music to me are overdone and not crisp enough with the transitions. Like they are still trying to figure out what they are doing and it's throwing off a natural flow, which I feel they struggle with already. The music breaks, '(s), definitely need to be much shorter. I am writing this as honest feedback. I want you to improve and continue to put out your content representing the Midwest/Chicago and how awesome we are. I wish you all the best. Keep going.
Well, thank you, Willart, for your opinion. And there's not much I could say about this. I'm not going to...
We get a lot of reviews.
Some of them say just the opposite of this. So it's really hard to tell. And I'm sorry that we, let you down in this way and that, we couldn't get you to give us a 5-star review. But, we're going to keep trying.
Yeah.
Keep trying. Keep getting better. 5 years in, we're going to get better.
We keep moving. All right. So we do have a listener mail.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short one.
Okay.
And it's one that I probably should have read last episode, but I don't know. I wanted to separate it out a bit. This
About
was
the Pfister Hotel, right?
Yeah. Well, last episode was Pfister, but we were reading the poll results.
Oh, yeah.
From the Huntington Theater.
Yes.
And this is a comment we got with the votes for the Huntington Theater. And I thought it worked as a little bit of a story. So we had Cindy B, who says, I worked there in the 90s as a call center operator. There was always a heavy feeling when you walked in. My Haitian spidey senses were always on alert as if something was going to happen. I swear I heard voices in the rafters when no one was in the theater. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought that was kind of interesting that someone actually who worked there wrote in and had a little story about being haunted.
Well, I really appreciate you writing in, Cindy. That is a great comment. And it could have been used for evidence almost.
I know. I didn't have it ahead of time.
Well, here's the thing. If you want us to read your story online, you can go ahead and email us at info@ghostlypodcast.com or use the contact us form right on Ghostly Podcast. One of our favorite ways, though, is to get a ghost story in the actual mail.
Yes.
Remember, like the old-fashioned mail where you get bills and stuff?
Yes.
You could send it to P.O. Box number 264 in Geneva, Illinois, 60134. You're not going to remember any of that. I know. Just go to the footer in the website, ghostlypodcast.com, and it's got all of our info right there.
Absolutely. And we definitely need your stories. So send those in. All right. So we have another piece of business that we got to get to.
Okay. So I just want to say that the last time I won, so I'm going to be okay with losing this one. I'm okay with losing some. I just want to win occasionally, just so that I, feel like, someone's listening to me.
You've been winning more than you have in the past lately. I'm just going to say that. So in our last episode, we talked about the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Yeah. That was not in our script, by the way.
The jokes are not... not saying we don't mess up or pause or any of the things that
I might have written 1 or 2 jokes in the script, I will say.
I've never seen you write a joke in a script, but maybe maybe it's in your script and I don't see it.
I hide it pretty well, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know. Anyways, but the vote was yes 25%.
Whoa.
And no 75%.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying that I won 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah. Again, the believers are not voting. I don't know what it is, but that's all right.
Yeah,
They
maybe
didn't believe the Major League Baseball players in this case.
nobody does.
They're like, professional athletes, they make too much money.
Yeah, right. So the overall rating, and that is just, like when we give a 1 or a 0 through 10, people can give a 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
They gave a 2.67.
That's pretty low.
That is low. That is low, low, low.
Yeah. So
Thank you, skeptics, for getting out there.
I don't know. We need to get Bob on here talking about the fister. We'll see. Okay, so I do have a ghost story for today.
You do. Okay.
Okay. Get us kind of into the mood.
It's time for a spooky tale from Rebecca.
I don't know why I'm here. My children tell me I need to be, but I don't know why. This island is beautiful, but everything here is dark. During the day, they make us follow a strict schedule of work without rest. They say this is what will help us drive out our mental demons. It's so hard to keep up with everything, and there isn't much food. But at least work days are better than the days with the doctors. The doctors say they are here to help us find peace. I know what peace is, and this place is not peace. My home with my family and animals was peace. But my husband died, and I think maybe I was a burden. But sometimes it's hard to remember those days before the island. The doctors do these things to us. I don't know what they are, but I don't feel well afterwards. However, as bad as the days are, they are nothing compared to the nights. I live in a dark, dank room. I know what happened here so many years ago. I see the shadows and I hear the screams. The plague was not a forgiving disease, and those who died here so many years ago still cannot overcome the pain and isolation of this place. I worry that I may soon join them. The shadows call to me.
All right. So it sounds like that wasn't based on any kind of factual thing, except that there was a mental institution on the island.
And this is a claim that people who were at that place made.
Oh, that they felt like
saw
they
shadows.
were... Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we'll don't worry, we'll get to chat about it. But...
Okay, this is gonna be a tough
Sorry,
one.
it went a little dark. I apologize. We were all happy with the fister.
Yeah.
We take a turn, but that's this island for you.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break, and when we return, we're gonna talk about the history.
Pat, what do creepy stories, funny ghost memes, and inside ghostly information have in common?
My life.
Well, yes, but no, it's also Ghostly Society on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that too, of course. But aren't all ghostly listeners in Ghostly Society?
Not yet.
What? I mean, that means that they're missing out on all my jokes.
Yeah, they are. And missing out on chatting and sharing with other listeners and us, of course.
We love talking to our listeners. If you haven't yet, you should consider joining our private group on Facebook called Ghostly Society.
Let's hope now they will.
Unless they're a woman in white.
Uh-oh.
Pat's Facts. From a skeptic point of view. Pat's Facts. He presents it all to you. Pat's Facts. Facts.
The Pat Facts are sponsored by Tarot by Ta.
Ta is a professional tarot card reader with over 20 years of experience. He reads at numerous public events, private parties, and personal appointments throughout the Greaterland, Chicago area. He also does his readings worldwide. using online services like Zoom.
And he is hashtag Team Skeptic. So to find out more about Ta, visit and like his Facebook page at facebook.com/tarot by Ta. So it's time to get into the Pat Facts.
Pat Facts.
Now, near Venice, Italy, there is an island with a very lush history, okay?
Lush is a word.
Lush is a word. And I thought about this one. I was like, it is lush, I would say.
All right.
The island's first historical record is from 421 AD.
Wow.
So you would think that there's going to be a ton of history.
Yeah.
Well, it really skips around a lot. There's
Okay.
not a lot of major events that happened here, but there are some. People from Padua and Este fled there to escape a barbarian invasion. Because we're
Wow.
talking 421 AD.
I was going to say, Italy's been around. I mean, it may not have been called Italy, like, whatever, but it's been around a long time.
Yeah, and this is our first episode from Italy, and Italy has got such a crazy history that they were all fighting against each other at one point.
Right. There was all
Yeah.
the different groups. Yeah. Anyways, I have a feeling we're going to be back here.
Oh, I would love to. But this is a small island in northern Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it's positioned by Venice. Yeah.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah. People, it's like it's real close to Venice.
Yeah. By the 9th century, the population was growing in the island, right? And it actually had its own like governor of sorts called a podestia.
Ooh, podesta.
Podesta.
It's hard because I do Spanish, and
Yeah.
so then when I just apply all
It's
that
close.
to
It's
Italian.
close to that,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah, and did you it's small?
It is really small. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
really small.
We'll talk more, but it's interesting.
Yeah. In 1379. So this is like both of these dates are just crazy dates for Ghostly. We've never gone back this far,
Right.
and there's no way I can do like in this time. This
Right.
was
So we've had 400.
Yeah.
We've had like 10. The 1,000, 9th century, whatever. Anyways, now 1,300.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Venice came under attack from the Genoan fleet.
Okay.
The people of Poveglia were moved to another island close by. But the people never went back for some reason, which surprised me because they were there, and so they went to another island. They never went back.
Now, I don't know if this was this time, but I
Yeah.
did hear that like a lot of their like living places had been destroyed. But again, there's been so much fighting there that could have been something that happened later.
Sure,
I don't know.
Sure. Well, the island was dormant until 1527, and even then it didn't really become occupied. So it was dormant for a long time.
Yeah.
The Doge, which was an elected head of state for Venice and Genoa, those kind of areas, offered the island to the Camellodius monks.
Camaldolese.
Camaldolese monks, who refused the offer, actually.
They were like, no.
The Camaldolese monks were a kind of monk that were established by Saint Romuald.
Okay.
They're monks,
But yeah,
so
okay.
they live that kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
In 1645, the Venetian government decided to use the island as a fort and build these 5 octagon-shaped structures on the island. There is only one that survived to the day on the island itself. Now, also, Poveglia is 2 islands, I believe.
Oh,
with like a little thing between it.
Oh, I only ever saw or heard about one.
Yeah.
I should say in my reading.
So there's a bridge that connects the two, and this is still there.
Okay.
The one, and it's on its own little island.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And really, within the structure, there's nothing much in it now. So that's when it got back to being occupied by people. 1645. So it went from 1379 to 1645 without people living on the island. In 1776, the island came under control of the Public Health Office and became like a Staten Island is in the U.S. or was in the U.S., where people checked in there and stuff when, they were coming in from different countries. And it was like a check-in point for goods and people coming to Venice by ship. In 1793, there were just a couple of ships that had some cases of the plague, and everyone became crazy and made Poveglia a quarantine area for the ill.
And actually, I read too. It was that. It was also almost like a backup too. Like there were
Yeah.
other islands, and it was kind of when they had overflow.
Well, and what this part really is interesting to me, Napoleon, actually, when he took over that area, was like, hey, this is a great idea. We're going to make this a permanent thing. And that was in 1805.
Okay.
So there was a church on the island called the Saint Vital, but Napoleon had it destroyed. And he also had the old bell tower transformed into a lighthouse. Later on, I'm going to call it a bell tower again. It's a lighthouse, though, now. It's both, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
In 1814, the quarantine area was officially closed.
I also heard that Napoleon kept, like, gunpowder there.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, like that was like it was under the guise of like, oh, it's a quarantine place, but like secretly I'm hiding war stuff there.
Sure. So, I mean, the island was only a quarantine area for, a little while, right? So like 30 years. In 1922, the existing buildings were converted into an asylum for the mentally ill and later used as a nursing home long-term care facility, which must have been actually like, think about that. That would be kind of nice. It's on a little island and stuff and around the water.
I don't know. Like when I was reading about it, like people were saying that like the whole nursing home long-term care facility was really kind of like a front for them doing their experiments and bad things.
Well, that's
but again,
horrible,
these are the ghosty people saying this.
Yeah.
So you are the historian. So we're going to, I don't know, somewhere in there.
It did close, though, in 1968. And afterwards, the island was briefly used for agriculture, and then it was completely abandoned.
Yeah, like 1975 is what I had read.
Something around there,
something
like the 70s.
Yeah.
I know that. In 2014, the Italian government needed some extra money. So they auctioned off a 99-year lease, wanting someone to turn the island into a resort or some grand hotel. Because if you look at where it's positioned on a map, it is positioned very well for Venice. And it would be great if you had like this grand hotel there.
That makes sense.
So they got a bid, but the bid was kind of low. So the highest bid was from Luigi Brugnaro. The lease did not proceed because his project was judged not to meet all of the conditions. But a lot of people actually suspect that it didn't happen because actually the bid was way too low and they wanted more money. So Luigi was really upset and he fought this until he became the mayor of Venice.
Okay.
And then he forgot all about it.
There you go.
In 2015, a private group was trying to raise money to turn the island into a public park, a marina, a restaurant, a hostel, and a study center. Sounds lovely, right? For a very small island to have all these things on it.
Yeah.
But nothing has been done to the island, and it's still vacant to this day. In fact, you can't like just visit this island. I don't know if we've mentioned this yet.
Yeah.
You need permission from the government to visit the island.
Yes.
So, and a lot of these like Ghost Adventure got
of
it,
course.
and I've seen some other photographers that have been there, which actually helped with a lot of things. But
well, and I read a bunch of stories of people. They're like, yeah, I just found like a fisherman and I gave him some money and he took me there. Like
you could probably do it illegally.
Yeah, my guess is we don't condone that.
Yeah,
on Ghostly,
but I'm sure that they don't like. They don't really like watch the island,
right?
Because there's nothing on it.
There's no
really.
like security or
In fact, the surviving buildings on the island consist of a cabana, a church, a hospital, and the old asylum building, a bell tower, and a housing and administrative building for the staff. The bell tower is the most visible structure on the island and dates back to the 12th century. The island contains one or more plague pits. An estimate published by the National Geographic, which is the one I went for. This is a more conservative estimate.
Yeah, I was going to say it's smaller than what I had read, but that makes sense.
It suggests that over 100,000 people died on the island over the centuries and were buried in the plague pits. Now, I also heard that number be 160,000.
Yes.
But that was not by as credible of a place as National Geographic.
But again, it is interesting because it really was just like a few ships. It wasn't like that makes it like when you think like that's how bad the plague is.
Oh, yeah.
Like this, it wasn't because the plague.
Well, they would bring people then from different spots to this island.
Right. But it's just interesting because the plague was around for centuries, but this wasn't used as anything until kind of later. But that's how many people. The plague was bad.
Yeah, the plague was really bad. Yeah.
What a weird island.
Yeah, definitely. I had never heard of this island.
So one thing that I read that really blew my mind, and again, I don't know how true this is just what someone said, was that the size, they gave like two different comparisons, and the one I wasn't familiar with, but the one that I was that it was like half the size of Chicago's Navy Pier. It's like 17 miles or something like that.
I don't know.
square
I've seen
miles.
Navy Pier packed with people, so it could have a lot of people in it.
Yeah, so I don't know. That seems a bit. I don't know. I mean, I know Navy Pier is bigger than I like always think it is, but anyways, but even if it's all of Navy Pier, like that's still not that big.
No,
like it's pretty small.
It is a pretty small island, but I mean, you would think some rich person would have bought this island and did something with it.
Right.
You know? It is really,
pretty.
Yeah. It just, it reminds me of that one show that you had told me about with the people that got the French castle.
Oh, sure, the chateau or something.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called
and
exactly,
it's like
but
it just surprises me that you could do something like that, but
yeah,
it surprises me
Ice
that
Island.
nobody's done anything about this.
I'm guessing if someone had enough money.
I mean, there's people that have a lot of money.
Right? Maybe there's something, I don't know, maybe. Well, we're going to say there's something about the land. There's a reason.
maybe Elon Musk should have bought this instead of Twitter.
Well, we are going to talk about maybe some reasons people
I
might
thought we were
not
going to talk
wanna
about
be on
Elon
the-
Musk. I was like, please no.
No, that's not this show.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and then we're going to return with our debate.
All right. Hey, listeners, did you know there's a way to share with the world whether you're a hashtag team believer or hashtag team skeptic? Or, for those who need it, hashtag team the middle? It's our store called Ghostly Gear.
Yep, and we even have custom ghostly designs like microclimate or even the Easter Island Massacre or of the Ghostly logo. Just visit our Ghostly Gear store right on ghostlypodcast.com to order your t-shirt, hoodie, mug, mask, whatever.
Okay. I think we got it. They just need to visit ghostlypodcast.com and click on Ghostly Gear to order right on the website and send us any ideas that you have for new merch.
Exactly. Order your merch today and send us a pic of you in your ghostly gear.
All right, Rebecca, are you ready for a debate?
Yeah.
I'm really not, but I'm going to try my best because this island is a little freaky, I will say.
It is. And again, it's one of those things like there's just a sense of something. And I think that's part of why people keep talking about it, because it's like over the years, it's like, well, these people came, but then they left and then it was abandoned for a while. And then these people came and then they left and it was abandoned for a while. And there's a lot of that.
Well, also, okay, a couple
yeah.
of things that I just want to note that is not factual necessarily. It is something that I heard. Okay. Two things.
Okay.
First is that the island soil is made up mostly of human remains.
It's like 50% I read.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna say that is not a piece of evidence that I have put in there because there is I don't, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I've actually seen the island, like in videos. I watched a guy walk around the island and it looks just like you're in the forest preserves. Just it's a lot of like growth in there.
I mean, again, the plague people, but like as you mentioned at the end of your history, they found the plague pits. Like they did bury people. It wasn't.
Well, they found at least one plague pit.
Yeah,
not plague pits.
Well, okay. Well,
I think the island is too small to have plural.
That's probably true.
And then another thing that I heard that was ridiculous to me is that that there was a prison on this island, and but here's the thing: it's like if there was, there would be some more documentation of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there wasn't, there would be some remains of this place, and there is none.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
So I think, I guess, but you could think like the asylum piece of it. Maybe people felt like they were
in prison.
kept.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing with the plague. Again, they were like not allowed to leave, kind of a thing. So, but that's not the same as a prison. Like you committed a crime and have to go there. So.
But just a couple of things that, you'll read if you do any research about this that doesn't seem to hold any water. It's like,
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, neither of those show up in my stuff here. All right. So this first one is actually going back to my story, which was that supposedly the patients of the asylum reported that they saw strange shadows, and they believed them to be belonging to the ghosts of the plague victims, and that they could not sleep at night because of the wails of suffering spirits. And that no one believed them. Like the doctors, of course, they were like, well, you're here because you're insane, quote unquote, because this is an asylum. But the weird thing is that there are still some of the same claims by people today, hearing noises and seeing shadows.
Okay, well, I can't really speak to the before because there's not much documentation to support this fact. It's just now people are saying that. But then there wasn't a big thing about it. It didn't seem.
Oh, no, there was. I mean, again, from what I read, there was like people would write and they would say like, oh, I'm hearing things. But then again, but then people would just dismiss it like, well, yeah, but you're also insane.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then so today, the fact that people see and hear things, well, it is an island. Okay. So it is positioned in a very weird location for this kind of thing. There is a big overgrowth of trees, bushes, shrubs, weeds, all the stuff, and I would imagine that can cause people to think that they see shadows a lot because there's just so many different areas to look at, like you measure one, block of the area or something like that, and there's going to be so much vegetation and overgrowth that it's so much. So much. So I'm going to say that I believe it's just something, their eyes are playing tricks on them. And they're hearing noises because it's an island. You're going to hear some kind of noises like that and trees and stuff. And, I would say it's that.
All right. What's your rating?
I'm going to go 0 for this one.
Okay. So for me, I am going to give this a 7.
Okay.
And part of that is because this was really interesting to me because people can't go to the island readily right now. There isn't a lot. I mean, there is some. Don't worry, we're going to get there. But like, there isn't a ton of like today evidence.
Yeah.
But the fact that people have claimed to see ghosts on this island even as far back, as like 100 years ago or whatever, 100 plus years ago, I thought that was really interesting. So to me, that has some weight to it.
I mean, I will include the word allegedly.
Sure.
Because I did not see supporting evidence to that necessarily. Any family member of the people dismissed whatever was said to them.
Yeah.
Because these people were in an asylum.
Yes.
For one reason or another.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So our next piece of evidence is that, and this is a story you had mentioned to me after doing your history research, and I found it. So here we go. As we know, in these asylums, the doctors, especially in like the 50s and 60s, were not doing always the nicest things to people.
Yeah.
Like that is a thing. Like it's just what it is. So supposedly there was especially a particular doctor who was doing lobotomies and other cruel practices on the patients. That it was really painful, and they used hammers and chisels and drills, no anesthesia. They didn't really care about sanitation. And, basically this is what the patients on the island claimed. So the story is that because of these horrific practices, the doctor was tormented by ghosts who drove him crazy, or he just felt such guilt at doing this. I don't know why all of a sudden, but I guess maybe it was the ghosts, drove him crazy to the point where he jumped, or some people say was thrown, but from the tower that stands out on the lagoon. And there's also this other legend. So basically he kills himself by throwing himself off the cliff, and that he still haunts people. But there's also a part of the legend that says that he didn't die from the fall, but that he was choked by a mysterious fog. So like supposedly like, you know, the island basically was like killed him. So
and that is like the coolest story ever,
right? It's a very, you know, story.
I'm gonna ask you, how much do you believe this story?
Well, I feel like there's some truth in here. Like, I don't know about like the mysterious fog choking him and all of that, but do I think that it's possible that if there was some doctor that was on the island, and maybe he wasn't even the lead doctor, maybe he was like just like a doctor working there, and he was being forced, or like just like, hey, it was like, you have to do this, but after a while you realize like how horrible this is and how much you're hurting people, like that you might kill yourself. Like, yeah, I think that's possible.
Well, I mean,
and that you could haunt the place. Yeah.
So I will say that, yeah, lobotomies were common practice back in those days. And I think at some point they realized what they were doing was wrong, you know, but I think it was, you know, too late. They already hurt a lot of people. And, you know, who's to say that they actually realized it in their lifetime or not? But, okay, there is no supporting evidence that someone committed suicide on this island in this particular situation. There are probably some from the asylum, you know, itself, that patients killed themselves or something because they were in an asylum for some reason. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to say that this is just a scary story, you know, made up to scare people. And there is also that they hear the bell still.
Yes, that they still hear the bell tolling across the bay.
Well, I don't know if the bell was completely removed from the bell tower
Okay.
when it was converted into a lighthouse. So maybe they are hearing it. Maybe the wind hits it in just the right way and they're hearing it, you know? But I don't think that this means that there's any ghost on there or anything.
So are you giving this one a
zero?
A zero?
Yeah. What are you
Okay.
giving it?
I'm giving this one a 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah, because I do think, is it possible that this, you know, a doctor killed himself and all of that? I do think, sure, but
is it probable?
You know, but I don't know about the ghost part. Like I think there's a lot of other ghosts on this island, and I don't know that the doctor needs to be one of them. But then again, also seems possible.
Okay.
So that's why it gets a 6. Okay, next one. Now, I did not find a ton of evidence on this one. I'm going to be honest with you. So I felt it was the most modern stuff I could find. So that's why I put it in here. So supposedly in 2016, a group of American guys from Colorado were rescued at night by firefighters who, at their arrival, found them in a state of shock and panicking for having seen and heard paranormal entities.
So they found him on the island?
Yeah. I mean, my guess...
Or did they find him in the ocean? Or where did they find... I mean...
No, on the island.
Okay.
They were rescued from the island at night.
Okay, well, I don't know how long they were on the island for.
I don't know
if
either.
you were on the island for a long time and somebody rescued you, you would be in I watched this show on the History Channel called Alone. And they are completely alone out there for however amount of days that they could make it, trying to survive. They're given like 10 items. And unlike Survivor and all those other things, they're their own camera people. So they see very little people. I mean, they don't see little people. They see, you know, they don't see people often.
I don't know what the size of this group was.
Yeah. I'm going to say that a lot of these people seem half crazy when they're taken off alone. So I'm going to say that this seems like nothing.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 0.
I think, to me, it sounds like there was like a group of touristy guys that were like, we're going to go to the island.
Bunch of bros.
And they went to the island and they were like, we're going to spend the night.
Bro.
But then they saw and heard things they were not expecting, and it freaked them out so much that they called somebody to come and get them. That is what I think happened.
Well,
So I'm going to give that one another 6.
I don't even know if there's electricity on this island.
There is not.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that it would be kind of scary to be there all night long, and it would be dark. It would be real dark there.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be scary, but I don't think it's scary because there's anything haunted on there. It's our own minds playing tricks on us. Okay, go ahead.
All right. The next one is supposedly in the 80s. There was some sort, and this is an American businessman bought it. I'm not sure about that. I read this in a couple different places, but supposedly they started doing some sort of construction on the island. Like they were going to try to build, whatever, a hotel, something, but that they literally worked for 3 days and then everything stopped and they all left and nothing was ever built. So people have surmised that it's because they saw these ghosts and different things and were scared off.
Well, okay, so I will tell you, I watched a YouTube video of somebody just walking the island.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say a word,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And in this, I did not see anything which would make me think that anything was trying to be built there, before.
Well, I would think 3 days they probably didn't get very far.
Well, they would have done something. They would have dug a hole. They would have done. You think they would have done something that would have been like, oh wow, there's
maybe they were just trying to clear out
that
one of the
looks weird.
existing properties or something.
I don't even. And in my history, I did not find anything about someone in the 80s buying the island.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say I don't believe this to be true, and I'm going to have to give this a 0.
All right. I'm going to give this one, I'm actually going to give it a 5 because it's one of those things where I think it's possible someone went out there to start construction on something and then they left. Yes. But maybe it's just because they didn't get the permits they were supposed to have, or, there's a lot of other reasons. But then again, man, it just doesn't surprise me that there'd be weird spirits and things happening there. So, but
Okay.
I don't know. There wasn't a lot of evidence for it.
Yeah.
Okay. This last one is just fun.
Mm-hmm. Just fun?
Just
Mhm.
fun. I don't know.
I mean, I will say up until now, I'm surprised that I'm giving all 0s because I find this island to be spooky and something's up.
Something is up. I think that's the thing is that people aren't going to the island a lot, so we don't have a ton of evidence for it, so it's weird. But okay. But work crews were digging a foundation when they found the pit.
Mm-hmm.
So they set to work.
Where was this at?
Well, I guess the thing I grabbed here was on that nearby island, Lazario. But this it was the one they found on.
I think that
Poveglia
word
too.
Actually is.
Lazaretto.
I think that is a quarantine island.
Yes, it was a quarantine island.
No, I mean I think that word means that.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That could be.
I'm not sure. I don't speak Italian.
I saw it listed as the main quarantine island, and then Poveglia. We got there. We got Poveglia. Anyways, sorry, but I saw this in a couple places, so I guess it could have been on this other island, but I heard it first as a Poveglia thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they found the pit,
Okay.
of plague victims. And as they were examining, the archaeologists, they found something shocking, which is a vampire.
Okay.
Vampire. No, what it is that they found someone who was thought by people back in the 16th century to be a vampire. And the tip-off is that there was a brick shoved between the person's teeth, which was believed that it would then starve the vampire. Or back then they were called shroud eaters.
So they found the remains of something that they believed was a vampire.
That people at the time believed was
But they
a
didn't
vampire.
find a vampire going
No.
oh, you got me.
Exactly. So I nowhere else did I find anything about claims of that there's current vampires on the island. But I just thought that was really interesting. So I will say, so this, we don't even need to give this rating. I just thought that was fun to talk about.
Okay, but I mean, like if you were a vampire, using these plague pits would be pretty freaking awesome.
Well,
you know?
yeah. So I guess what would happen is they would like re-dig up the pit to like put new bodies in it.
Yeah.
And then they would see like that one of the bodies
was newer.
The shroud. Well, the shroud would like have like pulled off or like melted around them, and I forget why, and then they would see blood.
Because they're shroud eaters.
Wait, well, yeah, because they're vampire.
Yeah,
they're shroud eaters, and they would have blood, and like so they assumed that these.
Or maybe they just got hit in the head with a brick and they bled out.
Well, supposedly their organs, it was that their organs, as they're like decomposing, are like pushing up and coming out, and then that like breaks up the shroud or whatever. Again, though, or they're vampires. I'm not
But
sure.
like in the plague pit, you know, like thinking of the vampire thing, that would be awesome because there's already a bunch of dead bodies there. So you could throw more, but then they would notice these bodies are newer. They're wearing Nikes. You know, it's like, what's going on here? So, yeah.
And then to stop them, they put a
brick in their mouth.
A brick in their mouth. They would have their teeth open. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think that would stop a lot of people.
I guess so.
Putting a brick in their mouth. Yeah. There's a couple people I would like to put a brick in their mouth.
No.
But I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So.
Anyways, I thought that was fun that there's also claims of vampires.
All right. So let's just talk about this. What is your overall rating?
Okay. So my overall rating is going to be a 6.
A 6. Okay.
I know, I want to go to a 7, but I didn't really have a lot of evidence that was that high.
6 is not as high as I would have thought.
I know.
Going into this episode.
I'm
and
surprised.
I'm going to give it a 0, but I really thought I was going to do some 1s and 2s here at least, you know, but I just feel like there hasn't been enough examination of this island to do any kind of study. So yeah, I feel like it's whatever.
I mean, maybe there's a reason that the Italian government don't let people on the island too much. I mean, they say they're trying to sell it and all of that, but then they don't accept the bid. I feel like it's a bit suspicious. So it's like, part of me for those outside reasons wants to like push it up to like a 7, but based on the specific evidence and stories that I found, that's where I'm at the 6.
All right, so that brings us to the closing arguments. This is our last chance to convince you to vote our way. We are each given 1 minute of uninterrupted time, and we will time each other on our cell phones to keep each other honest.
Yes.
Although I will say, Mondo texted me and said he could not believe that Rebecca cheated in the last episode.
I just got
the
emotional.
Pfister Hotel.
I just got emotional.
So you're not allowed to ask any questions or interrupt.
I know this is not what this is the closing arguments.
Yeah. So you're given one minute, and I have it on my cell phone right now. Are you ready, Rebecca?
I am ready.
All right, and let's go.
Okay. So as I was just kind of saying, I feel like, yes, there's a lot of reasons to think this place is haunted. So many plague victims, and then an asylum, people with lobotomies. I mean, so much violence over the years. Again, there were a lot of battles from the barbarians, onward. So I just can't think that it has to be haunted. And I think that it's just kind of weird that they just don't let a lot of people on the island. I mean, they do let some, like Ghost Adventures was there, but we know Ghost Adventures. We don't trust that. So it's hard. So do I think it's haunted? Yes. But do I have a lot of evidence to prove that it is? Not as much as I would have thought I would. And that's where I'm at.
Wow, you had like 10 seconds left. You must be making up for the last episode.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, and go.
So Rebecca is speculating that it is haunted, but does not have the evidence to be able to prove this necessarily is true. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but isn't it easier to say that it isn't because that doesn't happen? That doesn't happen in all these islands and stuff like that, in ghost towns even. And it just... I just think it has a lush history, as I said, and I do not believe it's haunted at all, and I do not believe the evidence this episode has supported it. I think it's creepy. I think it's spooky. I think it's dark, and I think it is extremely depressing island because of its history. But do I believe that makes it haunted? No.
All right, you had some seconds left
Yeah,
there,
I did too.
too.
Yeah. So I want to thank everyone so much for listening. Please share us with your friends and family and your family's friends too.
Yes.
Share it with anybody you can. As word of mouth is our best advertisement. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. And I just would like to say thank you to all of our VIP patrons, which are our producers. Oftentimes during our AMAs, we call them, which is just a ghostly meeting, we talk about episodes that are coming up and listen to their response. And we judge our next episodes based upon their responses to that.
Absolutely.
So, so let's give a shout out to them.
Alicia,
Becky,
Ta,
Ernie,
Cindy,
Kevin,
Nicole,
Jessica,
Alice,
Austin,
Aaron,
Hope,
and Candy.
and on the next episode of Ghostly, this is going to be a good one. We are going to be talking about this phenomenon known as doppelgangers.
Yes. And this is actually, speaking of VIP Patreons, this is something that one of our VIP Patreons asked for.
Yeah.
And since I have personally had a very creepy doppelganger experience, it was quick. I don't want to build it up too much, but it lives with me to this day. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Well, and I just want to say too, we are not talking about someone that looks pretty much like you. We are talking
Right.
about someone that looks exactly like you and is more paranormal based.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because there's TV shows where they're like, meet my twin,
Yeah,
where it's like
exactly.
they find people that really look a lot like each other.
And Joey found his hand model.
Yeah, he
twin.
did find his
Yeah.
hand twin. Yeah,
in
that's true.
Friends. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
So-
true. But we're not talking about that.
No, we're not.
So if you have any creepy paranormal doppelganger stories, definitely send those in.
And yeah, I kind of look like Peter from Family Guy, right? So
No,
No?
I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
so. No, you look like, you know who you look like. You look like Eddie Vedder.
I do not look like Eddie Vedder.
You do.
This next episode comes out on August 9th, but until then, stay ghostly.
Bye.